Hi everybody. Today I'm going to read the story Our Mammoth Goes to School by Adrian Mitchell and Priscilla Lamont. We are the Gumble twins, Bing and Saturday Gumble. We have a book called How to Look After Your Mammoth. It says, mammoths are clever. Mammoths like to learn. So our mom, Sally Gumble, said, better take Buttercup to school. We rode Buttercup into the playground. All the children cheered. Out came both our teachers. We have a good, funny teacher called Lucy Moose. Lucy Moose fetched Buttercup a bucket of milk. We have a bad, sad teacher called Mr. Binko. Mr. Binko frowned and said, no mammoths allowed in my school. Lucy Moose smiled and said, we'll have our history lesson on the playground. She told us a story of the old days when there were hundreds of mammoths. At playtime, we all used Buttercup as a jungle gym. We used her curving tusks for slides. Buttercup purred like a motorboat. Mr. Binko stared and said, that mammoth has fleas. They are big as sparrows, but not as pretty. Saturday said, they are only mammoth fleas. They won't itch people. Bing said, she only has 4 fleas. We call them Whizbee, Fizbee, Fizbee, and Chips. We said, all mammoths have fleas. They are fond of their fleas. A mammoth with no fleas is lonely. Mr. Binko grinned and said, everybody ready for the school trip? Today, we're going to the animal park. But we're not taking Buttercup, or Bing, or Saturday Gumble, because of those dirty fleas. Lucy Moosey said, sorry, you'd better go home. We climbed up on Buttercup's back, but when the school bus drove away, Buttercup started to follow it. Have you ever been for a wild mammoth ride? We shouted out, stop! But nothing would stop her. We hung on tight to the hair on the hump behind her head. She went bumping along faster and faster, past bikes, past cars. First she went galumper gumper. Then she went lotten totten. Then she went snoppeter poppeter snoppeter poppeter. Then she went baloopy 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 all the way to the animal park. Buttercup thundered into the park, past merry monkeys, past curious camels, past a terrible tiger, past zigzag zebras. Buttercup slowed down beside a field. There were 8 elephants eating hay. Buttercup lifted up her trunk and made a sound like a big brass band. All the elephants came to meet her, blowing on their trumpets. The elephants crowded around Buttercup. They sniffed her. They patted her. They gazed into her brown and golden eyes. They all made a noise that sounded like, yes. Then they led Buttercup down to a lake. Buttercup and the elephants splashed into the water. They played fountains. They played underwater hide and seek. They played musical mud baths. We played too and got wet as walruses. But we didn't mind. Then the school trip found us. Lucy Moose gave Buttercup a bunch of dandelions. But Mr. Binko laughed at Buttercup. "Great hairy monster with fleas," he said. He laughed so much his wig fell into a puddle. We picked up his wig and handed it back. We nearly burst, but we didn't laugh. But Buttercup shook and snuffled a bit, and so did Lucy Moose. When we got home, we told our mom. She promised to take Buttercup every Sunday to visit her friends at the animal park. We had beans for supper. Buttercup had 6 buckets of soup. Her fleas had tomato juice. Then we went to bed, and we slept like beanbags. The end.